So I'm making a set of bookshelf speakers, and I've ordered all the components, all the drivers and everything as a kit, so I don't have to worry about that side of things, and I can just focus on the design and construction of the cabinets. The terminals come like this with the crossovers mounted on the back of them. The problem was my design called for a round flange for the terminal, and these have come with quite a large square flange. So today I'm going to show you how I cut these down to a circle, keeping everything centered and having a nice clean finish on the cut. So here you can see the finished product that we're aiming for, and I'm going to use the router to cut this down, and a homemade circle cutting jig that I'll show you on the router table as well. In order to get this cut central, normally you need a pivot point in the center of the circle that you're cutting, but obviously we don't have that here with these terminals. So we've made a disc like this, where the outside diameter here represents the final diameter of the terminal that we're after, and the inside diameter here fits snugly on the inside diameter of the terminal. You can see my calculations weren't quite correct, and I've just had to pad it out with a little bit of electrical tape there. So to get this ready to head over to the router table, we just need to undo the terminal posts here, which just gives our jig a bit more space. So we've undone the terminal post, and it just gives our jig a little bit more space, so when we slot it on there, it's a perfect fit. And now you can see the diameter that we're going to be trimming this flange down to. So here's a close-up of my circle cutting setup on the router table. We've got our template here and our pivot point there, and we just need to pop it in the hole that we've drilled for the right diameter. And you can see that that edge there is right down where the cutting piece will come up. I'll just wind up the cutting piece. Okay, so we're all ready to go. We only get one shot at it, so it's got to be a good one. I've bagged up all the components here just to try and protect them from all the bits of plastic that are going to come flying off. And you can see that the cutter's still not at the cutting height yet, because I want to bring that up while it's powered up. So let's get going. Right, so as you can see, I need to maintain a little bit more control on the corners there where the cutter's grabbing on both sides. But if we lift it off to have a look, we'll see that I have dug in a little bit there, which is pretty disappointing, but otherwise it's pretty clean. So we'll get it back on the jig, bring the cutter up to full height and finish off. So unfortunately it wasn't quite as good as I was hoping it would be, and it definitely wasn't as good as the first one that I did off camera. But it isn't too bad, and we can learn a few things from it. I think if I was to do it again, I would have rough cut the corners first, just so they didn't catch on the way around, and probably just taken it a little bit slower as well. But there you have it.